Good day, students. Today we're going to talk about important terms or terminologies in genetics. So the first terminology I'm going to be discussing is the gene from the word genetics. So don't forget that the gene is the unit of inheritance. The gene, it is the unit of inheritance. The unit of inheritance. That is the first definition. However, this definition is not telling us where we can find the gene. So we can redefine gene, okay, as a segment or a portion of the DNA located on the chromosome. For the last time, is a segment or the portion of DNA located on chromosome. Segment of DNA located on chromosome. Now let me analyze what I just said. This is the chromosome, as we all know. This is the chromosome. Now the chromosome consists of the DNA structure that are wound together in several thousands and millions. This is the DNA. Let me bring the structure of the DNA out. This is the DNA. Okay, it's a double helix structure. So this is the DNA. So a part of the DNA is called the gene. So when I defined my gene, I said, okay, this is the chromosome. Let's label together. This is the chromosome. This is the DNA. Okay, now. So a part of the DNA is called the gene. And the DNA is located on where? On the chromosome. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next terminology is what is called the dominant. Oh, okay, let's talk about the allele. Allele. Most times you hear the word allele for me. Please don't be scared. An allele is the variant of a gene. An allele is the variant of a gene. This is not complex. I can define this and say the various forms of a gene. That is what is called an allele. You can say the variant of a gene or the various forms of a gene. For example, you have a gene that controls height. Are you there? We have the gene that controls height. So how do we get an allele for this? So the allele can be either the tallness or what? Or shortness. Are you there? So the allele now, for this particular gene, for this tallness, or sorry, for height, so you can say allele for height. What will it give us? Allele for height will give us tall, that's capital letter T, or short. So the various forms of a gene is called an allele. Another example is what we have what is called the multiple allele. Multiple alleles. Multiple allele is found in the blood group. It's found in the blood group. So we have the blood group itself, we have a gene that controls the blood group. Are you there? We have the gene that controls the blood group. We now have the blood group alleles. Are you there? Okay, let me make it easier for you as students. Okay, let me make it easier for you since we have been able to take the height as an example. So we have the gene that controls the height. We now have allele for height, which is tall or short. Okay, now let's have the gene that controls the blood group. We're now going to have the allele for the blood group so that you understand. So the gene that controls the blood group, okay, let's have it here. The gene that controls blood group. So what about the allele now? We now have the allele for the blood group. For blood group, will now be 3. Okay, we have the A, we have the B, and we have the O. So the blood group is an example of multiple alleles. Are you there? Let's write together. The blood group is an example of multiple allele. What do we mean by multiple alleles? That is, we are having more than 2 forms. 1, 2, 3. Here we have just 2, big T and small t. But here we have 3. We have the A, we have the B, and we have and they are all different from one another. So what do we use to represent an allele? We use an I. You can say I raised to power T and I raised to power small t. If you see this in your past question, you should be calm to answer the question. This is talking about the allele. So for blood group, what do we have? We have the capital letter I. Then we have the A up, we have the I, then the B, then we have the I, we have the O. Okay, let's continue with the important terms in genetics. Now, another term that we need to discuss is called the dominant character. The dominant character. So what is dominant character? From the word dominant. Dominant means whenever it is present, it is always expressed. And it is going to always mask down the contrasting character, that is opposite character. Whenever it is present, it is expressed, and it has the power to mask down or to cover the less powerful character. So let's define dominant character. The dominant character is a character that is always expressed whenever it is available. Or let me redefine it by saying it is the character that is always expressed in the presence or absence of a contrasting character. For the last time, it is the character. Number 3, we have the dominant character. It is the character that is expressed whenever it's available, that is expressed, okay, in the presence of or absence of a contrasting character. Dominant character is a character that is always expressed in the presence or absence of dominant character, of a contrasting character, that is the opposite character beside it. Okay, let's have a representation for that. It's always represented with a capital letter. Are you there? For example, for height, we have big T is represent tallness. For height, let's have it here. Big T represents tallness and it is dominant. Are you there? Not all the time. Okay, let's have another one. We have the big R represent red and it is dominant. But take note, not all the time capital letter denotes the dominant character. Sometimes you can have a capital letter not denoting a dominant character. For example, in the blood group, the blood group is an exemption. The blood group now. A is dominant for blood group and B is dominant. But O, even while it is capital letter, is not dominant. We're going to stop the class here today and we're going to continue with the fourth term in genetics, and that is recessive character. Goodbye.